From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John.
How y'all are? Cajun Rob here hanging out with you.
I swear, one of these days I will not laugh when you say that. How y'all?
I thought everybody said that.
They did until they moved up north, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but anyways, we have a very special guest tonight. Rob and I have mentioned it in the past about kayak fishing and that. And Rob's thinking about switching from boat to kayak. And so who better to have in here and talk to us about kayak fishing than Edie Wilkinson? She fishes the Hobie circuit as in the kayak, the professional circuits. And, you know, Rob, get your pen and paper, take notes. Don't be afraid to watch the replay on this. So
absolutely. We got the guru on tonight, I guarantee.
Guarantee. All right. Well, let's bring Edie on and welcome her to the stage.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you guys?
Doing great. Surviving a Monday, so doing good.
Yep. Yes, we are.
Yes.
And it's almost over, so that's a win.
Yep. There you go.
Want to let you know, you don't have to worry about reading the comments. We'll read them to you. We forgot to mention that prior to the show, so
Okay,
you don't have to worry about. Yeah.
Yep, got one already popped up.
Trisha Payne McGraw says, "Hey guys, Trisha's over in your neck of the. Well, she's in Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's
I'm right close to the Michigan state line. I'm only about not that many miles away from it. So.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't mind, Edie, talk to us about what got you into fishing in general.
Okay, so I started fishing. It's been about 5 or 6 years ago now. And I started in the bass boat, actually, which is a little ironic, but it was the way it all kind of started is I worked with a gentleman who is now my partner that fished tournaments and stuff like weeknighters and stuff. And he needed a partner for a tournament. And we ended up fishing it. We won. And it was, yeah, I was hooked after that. I pretty much went all in from the get-go. I fished the bass boat tournaments just locally and stuff for like the first year and a half, 2 years, before I switched to the kayak. And it was once I stepped in the kayak, that was it for me. It opened so many doors for me. It's that's where I belong. So
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So was there anything that just made you decide to switch, or you just enjoyed kayaking from the start, or?
Well, I started seeing like more and more, videos and stuff from social media, some of the people I followed, kayak tournaments, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
I could do that all by myself. And
Yep.
and it kind of went from there. My first kayak was an Ascend 12T from, I think it was Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yep.
And I quickly learned that I was not coordinated enough to do the paddle and fish and keep everything together all at the same time. It didn't work for me.
Yep.
I got frustrated. And that's when I started looking into the pedal kayaks.
Yep.
And I ended up, my first pedal kayak was a Bite FD from Jackson Kayak. And I still to this day fish out of a Bite FD. I've tried a couple others in the mix, and I keep going back to that one. It's just, it fits me. It's kind of the perfect kayak for me. But the pedals absolutely changed the game for me as far as tournament fishing and stuff goes. And I've also since now added a trolling motor and other things like that. But I started out just bare bones. So.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Nice. Trisha Payne says she's in Ohio.
Okay.
I thought she was in Michigan.
I have about 3 hours to Ohio, I think. A couple hours.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Barking Ruger says hammer time. Yes. Well, okay. So if you're going to outfit a kayak for tournament fishing, what do you think you're going to add to it? I mean, a kayak pretty much comes as a shell.
It does. I'd say a couple of the basics. Well, there's a couple things that you absolutely have to have when you're fishing a kayak tournament. You have to have a certified measuring board. Most series require that now. I'm not really aware of any that don't.
Right.
But so there's that. I'd say some kind of tackle crate.
Yep.
Or some kind of way to secure your tackle. And you want to have bungees and straps and tie downs for everything that you own. Because you will lose it sooner or later. It will find the water. Like, I can't tell you how many phones I've lost in the water and just, different things. And if you lose your phone in a kayak tournament, you're pretty much, that's it, because that's your way of submitting your fish. And so, make sure everything is secured. Have lanyards, carabiners for everything. It will make a world of difference. And it's also just, you learn as you go. Like, there's, because I started out with nothing, and then I'm fishing one day, I'm like, oh, I could use that here. And I put a rod holder here, or I put a cup holder here, or just different things like that you learn as you go. So don't think that it has to be, before you even get on the water, that you have to have this all outfitted. I think it's better to take it out and see what is most beneficial to you, and where you want to put it. And that way you're not redoing things and all of that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Now the kayak you have now, is that a stand-up kayak or?
I spend a lot of time standing up in it. It's very stable. I have, knock on wood, and I've yet to fall out of my kayak. And I've fallen out of many very good bass boats. And, but it's a very stable platform to fish out of.
Oh, cool.
Even when I've got it loaded down, with the trolling motor on the front and the big battery, in the rear and all of that, it's still a very stable platform.
And Hunting Georgia says, hello all. How you doing, sir?
Hi.
All right.
Barking Rugers says, learning to take less with you makes a world of difference by not being overloaded on a tiny boat.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you how many times I have gone back to shore and unloaded stuff and gone back out. I mean, sometimes it's just, it's too overwhelming. It's like, why do I have all this?
Oh yeah.
Now,
or I'll have plans to take the motor and the battery and all that, and I get there and I'm like, not feeling it today, and I just go out. Just
cool.
Yeah.
Now, are you allowed to do that in a tournament? Go back to your vehicle and do things, or okay?
Yes. I mean, as long as, because you can get out of the water and change ramps and all that.
Okay.
If there's multiple public ramps, allowed or whatever. Most tournaments will allow that. So yeah, you are allowed to do that. Some will allow, like, even wade fishing. If you're fishing the shallow rivers and things like that, you can do wade fishing from, some series allow that. And you just have to make sure you read the rules and are, familiar before you start the tournament. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, we hear that a lot in the boating community.
Yeah.
People not reading the rules. And
yeah.
And Carly Prevet says, hey guys, Carly's one of our
Hello.
younger women here. Barking Ruger says paddle management is usually the biggie for him because he likes to stand, but also keep the paddle to where he can one-handed make position adjustments.
Yep.
I feel that, because before I got my trolling motor, I did that a lot. I'd like
Mhm.
lean it up against the seat or something to where it was handy. But I use a trolling motor a lot for that now because I have a remote control.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and so I stand up and then just, run my lines with that, which that has been a game changer for me as well.
Now,
Yeah.
does your trolling motor have like a spot lock on it?
It does.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of guys running like solar rechargers and stuff now. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I
Yeah.
plug in my batteries every time I get off the water, but
There you go.
yeah.
Better safe than stranded.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Cherry you already always got the paddle. Worst comes to worst. So.
Yep. I never leave shore without my paddle. It doesn't
Yep.
matter if I have my pedals, my motor. I don't care. I'm still taking the paddle with me because you never know what can happen. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're next, Rob.
All right. But I'm just now kind of getting into kayaks. I've rented some kayaks and fished around, and I'm getting more and more into it. You got any kind of advice for somebody just kind of starting out? I know I've got a life preserver. That's the first thing I got. I don't have a paddle yet because when I rent them, they give you paddles. But
yeah.
And I know the milk crate definitely on the list. And I've looked at a couple. I actually got work at selling one that I may jump on. But any kind of tips on guys or gals that just starting out getting into kayaking?
Kayak fishing or
kayak fishing
tournament, but I mean like tournament fishing or just
tournament fishing. Fishing.
Okay. I'd say getting started out, you definitely want to have. I didn't mention that to start with is the life vest.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to have something that is comfortable for you. Because you have to wear it for 8 hours at a time.
Yep.
And you have to have it on 100% of the time.
Okay.
So you want to find one that is comfortable and fits your needs and stuff. Second thing is you'll want a good measuring board.
Right.
ID holder.
Yep.
ID holder is a big deal. I got I think it's the Catch ID holder. It slides onto the board with the Velcro. That's what I use. It works really well for me. I know some use the ones where you write on and then they wash it off and you can reuse it. But I just use that one and just insert a new a new card for the IDs. Carry a marker with you in case you have to rewrite your ID or you lose your ID or something like that. You always want to have an extra marker. You want to have extra batteries.
Yep.
A 360 light. If you launch before dark, you're required to have a 360 light. And then
I saw they had the little flags, like a little light and a flag. That's pretty cool. I saw that.
That's what mine is. Yak Attack has those. Those are You'll just want to always carry extra batteries with you because if you're like me, you'll forget to twist the bulb loose all day, and so it runs out of batteries. And then you launch on tournament morning, have to hold up your phone with the flashlight on. May have done that before. But make sure you are familiar with your state laws because some require like the red and green lights as well. Also, if like state parks, things like that, you'll want to like registration, the boat stickers. I'm just trying to think of all the things I've forgotten or that have gotten me in trouble. Good rod holders. You want rod holders that work for you. I have mine on the side of the crate. A good net, a good solid net. I have found that a longer handled net is my friend. Because I used one with a shorter handle for like the first couple of years, and I struggle netting the fish sometimes. Why am I using this short of a handle? I say the longer the handle, the better, but that's just me.
I got you.
But there's also Yak Attack makes one that has the offset one. Where you can use your arm to brace it. I had one of those for a while. That one worked very well as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now when you get your card, do you I've never been around a kayak tournament, so I was just curious. Do you get a card? You have to go to a meeting, or they email it to you, or how they do that with a card and ID?
The tournament ID is usually supplied on the app.
Yep.
And it's usually the night before 8-9 o'clock.
Okay.
They'll supply the tournament ID, or
Yep.
if it's on a national series or whatever, sometimes it'll be during a live meeting, that they do,
Okay.
or it depends if it's like an in-person captain's meeting or something like that.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
normally it's supplied on the app the night before. And then that's when I fill in. I can never fall asleep before I write my ID on my card and have it attached and ready to go for the next morning. So
I got you.
that's one of my things, because I've also forgotten to write down my ID and got out on the water and been like, whoa, well, that's not going to work. So
Well, you use the old school, just write it on your hand. Hope it don't get too wet.
Some allow that, but some don't allow that. Some you have to have like a specific tourney ID tag.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the series I fish, I have to print out a PDF, a specific tag or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's another series I fish that I can write it on my hand. I can write it on the back of whatever I want, it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So it's sort of up to the tournament director, and how they want to handle that.
Okay. Well, good info. I'm always kind of curious about that. So thanks for that.
Yeah. No worries.
All right.
So,
And
Barking Uber says bungees, bunnies. I think he's trying to say bungees
Yeah,
3 times.
Yep. Lots of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I have my board attached. I have my dry box. Oh, you want a good dry box too.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep, for your keys and your extra marker and all of those things. And if you have a trolling motor on your kayak, you have to have it registered. So I keep the registration in my dry box.
Okay.
But yeah, just my phone, I've got a lanyard for. It's just everything is attached.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
I've lost too much stuff. I'll go broke.
Fishing is expensive enough,
Yeah.
let alone trying to replace everything.
Yes,
Oh,
it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, and one quick question now: how do you when you transport your kayak? Do you on top of a car? You got a trailer, or how do you kind of transport your kayak around?
Okay, so I'm a little spoiled, and I have an enclosed cargo trailer that a local trailer business wanted to sponsor me last year and supply this trailer. And so it's a 14-foot enclosed cargo trailer. And it's finished out. It's got an awning on it. It's really pretty cool. And
wow,
I camped out of it last year when I was doing the national trail. But I have the Boondocks wheels on my kayak. So my partner made this PVC pipe rack for the middle of the trailer. And when I put the Boondocks wheels on, I simply roll it off the rack, down the ramp, into the water. When I come out, I roll it right back in. I never have to break anything down on it besides laying down my fishing poles. But I have everything in one spot all the time. I don't have to take it apart, put it back together. I really like it. But
that is pretty dang cool. I give you props on that. That's pretty dang cool.
It's gotten me a little spoiled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A couple of times I've had to throw it in the back of my truck. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work. But I'll do it, I mean,
oh yeah.
Because I might go back to that someday. I don't,
Oh yeah.
It's not that big a deal. But yeah. But
that's pretty cool.
I would absolutely suggest a good set of some kind of transport wheels or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially if you're fishing tournaments, because it's a game changer.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know. Sometimes without my set of wheels. Yeah.
Cool.
Barking Ruger says, "Do you have a preference for shorter rods while on the kayak?"
When I first started, I tended to lean towards shorter rods. I thought they'd be easier. But honestly, I have learned that it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I'd rather, it just depends on what application I'm using it for now, rather than geared towards being in the kayak.
Right.
It's just a different presentation with it.
Yeah.
If I've gotten really good at side casting, or backwards casting, or this way, or it's just, but I guess I really don't gear towards the shorter rods anymore. And especially, I can stand up, and sometimes you just need that longer rod to get the oomph to
Oh yeah.
that you need. But the shorter rods definitely have their place. And if you're fishing, a shallow river under branches, or flipping super close or something like that, it would definitely have its place.
Good deal. And kind of on the same lines, I know some guys will use braid because they can't, like horse, get a big hook set because they're sitting down. Now, what do you go with, fluorocarbon or braid, or what's your usual setup on your rods?
I usually do fluorocarbon unless I'm throwing top water, or I do braid to fluorocarbon leader.
Yeah.
I buy hooks to make up for my poor hook sets. So I buy the sharpest hooks I can find, because my hook set is not the greatest hook set out there. And then you add in the kayak being not as stable as a boat, and it's going to give. I want the sharpest hook on the end of that to give my get my best shot at hooking the fish.
Yeah,
and I've got
I'm same way.
Yeah, I mean, instantly when I hook into a fish, I start pedaling backwards. It's just it's like an instinct to me now. It just adds that extra pull, extra oomph to it, and gets it. Yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Good point.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. It's just I instinct. I don't even think about that I'm doing it, but I catch myself doing it every time. It's just instant. I hook set and I'm pedaling backwards at the same time. It just it gives you more leverage.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Parking Ruger says, after parking the Pimp Palace trailer, the minions carry the kayak of destiny on their heads while singing.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Yes, he's he watches every show, and great guy. If you need help with electronics, look him up.
Yeah.
Hey,
he knows his stuff.
That's always good people to know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's actually going to be on our VIP site too, and talk about electronics. So
okay, awesome.
Yeah. With the rods, you switch back to what they would call the typical standard rods instead of using the shorter. Do you feel that helps you more with the hook sets with leverage?
I don't know if it helps me with hook sets as much as, I think, I don't know, hook sets as much as accuracy of casting.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because lots of times the length of rod makes the biggest difference for me when it comes to casting accuracy. It depends what presentation I'm trying to do, but if you don't have, like, if you have a super short rod and you're trying to, try to get it, just you have to match what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, I got you.
So basically, do what works for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong way. It wasn't even until like the last few years that I started really paying attention, I want to use this weight, this length rod for this, I just got rods and went fishing.
Oh yeah.
And it worked for me. It's just, as the more I learn, the more I want to learn, and the more I'm like, whoa, that's kind of cool. That works pretty good, So
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I know when I'm teaching fishing to kids and stuff like that, or even adults, I'll tell people, practice with what you have, use it, and know how to use it to the best. Because I've been beat by guys fishing out of a pretty much a John boat, you know, with Zebco 202s. You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
and you know, you watch them and they're skipping jigs and everything. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't have to spend $200 on a rod. You know, just learn how to use it.
Yeah. Skipping docks is still my nemesis to this day. Like, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in the backyard flipping, you know, now flipping into a spot I'm good at. I can cast into a spot really good, but skipping under those docks, I think a big percent of it might be that I'm really terrified of hitting something and somebody coming out. I've I don't know. It's a big like paranoia of mine. It really is. I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like almost scared to try. And and it's So that still to this day is my nemesis. And I know that I leave so many fish on the table because I can't skip docks. And it kills me sometimes. It's like that's something I am determined to get better at. But it's definitely
I had
a work in progress.
A good friend of mine who's, I will say, probably one of the best dock skippers that I know. And I would probably put him up there close to Andy Morgan at skipping docks. And he said he learned.
Plumb out of sight.
What's that? he learned how to skip docks in his driveway.
That's awesome.
He said because the concrete or pavement of the driveway is almost like when it skips right, it's like skipping a rock on the water.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So
because it'll bounce up and hit a dock real quick. So.
Oh yeah, or a pontoon, Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
He can skip with both hands. He can skip backwards, forwards.
Wow,
that's impressive.
That is.
I watch him and I'm like, I really hope he falls in the water. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm always tip my hat to people when I see them. You know, they're super good at that, accurate with their casting because that will win tournaments.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's who can cast the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one bite makes a difference. You get it back here far back in the dock. That one bite will get you over the hump. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's being codes. I know what you're talking about. Being scared to do it because I fish out of the back of the boat, and I'm like, if I skip that and hit that pontoon, my boater is going to give me the death stare. So I don't even want to try.
Oh yeah.
So.
See, I was more used to my partner hitting it and be like, "Oh, that was her."
Yep.
Like, oh hell no.
Yep.
Right. Now, see, one of the problems I have is, and one of the things that's keeping me out of the kayak is my hook set.
Yeah.
Because with me, if I'm anything but finesse fishing, when I set the hook, I shake the boat. I rock the boat. And it's like, okay, I can see me setting the hook on a kayak and I'll go over backwards into the lake.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. So I don't have that. Like there's times I'm like, I'm constantly telling myself during the day, set the damn hook.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Like come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a work in progress, but I'm getting a little better at that. So
awesome.
My last couple tournaments have been my cleanest tournaments like ever. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's a good feeling when you fish super clean.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. People set goals for tournaments, and the one thing I try to the goal I want is a 90%.
Yep.
I mean, with me, fishing clean is not just setting the hook and getting the fish in the boat. It's making good casts, you know,
not making pointless casts.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a whole thing for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm getting there. Like all the little nuances and like you said, not making pointless casts, backlashes.
Yep.
Not having hooks tear off because you didn't check your hook. It's just all of that, making sure that you have the fish solid before you lift your other hand to take a picture so it doesn't flop off the board. I've had that happen so many times. That's heartbreaking.
Ooh.
When you have the fish in the boat on the board.
Yep.
And it hops off before you get the picture. And you gotta shake it off and
keep on going.
Find the next one. Yep.
Barking Rooters, I don't know if you know, he's down so far south of Louisiana, he's almost hitting the water. But he says, y'all don't want to be on a boat with me. I skip baits into so much stuff, it sounds like I'm trying to break stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he does.
Oh, yeah.
My version of finesse is called bull in a china shop.
Yeah, this is a guy that crappie fishes with like 30-pound braids. So
oh gosh, yeah.
No, that's what. Honestly, though, that's one of the things that I'm worried about as far as a kayak is, because there's not places around here where you can rent a fishing kayak.
Yeah.
To see what would fit, and people. I don't want to go to a place, get a kayak, and have to bring it back because it doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
No, and I understand that. That's my local kayak dealer here, who's also my main sponsor, Fluid Fund. They're in Bristol, Indiana. They live right on the St. Joe River, so you can try out the kayaks. And they do all kinds of demo days. And lots of times, if you find kayak shops, they'll offer demo days or different things like that, and some of them don't either, but that's what I would suggest, is to always at least sit in it. And if you can, take it for a run before you make that decision, because if it doesn't fit you, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, do you find... Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I noticed too, when I started off, I like to use moving baits. So, moving baits, you just kind of lean into it. And after I get a few on the moving baits, I'll kind of slow down. But it seems like it gets your confidence, I guess you say, a hook says. That's how I approach it. So that works pretty good for me.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yep.
Are you talking like crankbaits?
Yeah, crank or chatter baits, spinner baits. I love spinner baits. But it seems like they're better in the morning, low light. So, but that's how I've had some success doing that, so it works pretty good.
I'll have to try that out. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
No, this past weekend I was in a tournament on a small lake up by me, and I set the hook, and the eyelet came out.
Oh.
No.
And I'm like, and Rob, I thrown a crankbait.
I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna call 911 right now.
I don't throw much either.
Well, I have probably 150 plus crankbaits, and I might make 25, 30 casts a year on them with them. So, but no, I'm not a big crankbait fisherman. I try to stick to one hook. So, yeah.
I've learned treble hooks have pros too, like, because if a fish gets hooked in treble hooks, that's a whole bunch of hooks in there.
Yeah.
I found you can land some fish that you didn't think you were going to land.
Oh yeah, they'll hook themselves a second time or get hooked on the side. Yeah. So
yeah.
But they always make a mess when they come in the boat with them, though. I don't know, and knock on wood again, I don't know how I have managed to escape getting hooked. I mean, I've gotten, quick jabs or something, but being seriously hooked. I shouldn't even be talking about this because I'm jinxing it. So let's move on.
All right, move
on. I saw Christine Fisher had a post over the weekend that she got a muskie and it ended up biting her.
Oh, she did. Ooh. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
and
she kicked butt on the Susky, though. So
yes.
Yeah, she always does.
Yes, she does. Yep. Congratulations to her, by the way.
She's good.
Parker Gruber wants to know, Rob, you don't have to worry so much when you put down the fairy wand and grab a flipping stick.
I do that occasionally.
See, that's my problem because, like, in New York, a spinning rod is like gold.
Oh yeah, that's bread and butter up there.
You know.
See, me and spinning rods.
And
No.
I would prefer flipping.
Yep.
Okay. 7.6 medium heavy action rod, and 30 to 50 pound braid, 20 pound fluoro. You know, that 1 ounce jigs. You know, that's my stuff. That's what I like
on the
to
head.
do. And you know, and you have to set the hook hard with that.
Oh yeah.
I struggle with that type of fishing just for that very reason, because I don't get that hook set.
So I'm gonna have to talk to Bailey Ebret and then find out how he does it, because I know he likes fishing a jig.
Oh yeah.
I love fishing a jig, and that was my, like, I threw it almost 90% of the time for a couple years. I was so stuck on it. It was hurting me, but I caught fish on it because I had confidence in it, and I learned how to fish it very well in a lot of different scenarios, because you can be so versatile with a jig. And it serves me well now, even though I'm not as stuck on it anymore. There's still times you bring that jig out and
it does catch bigger fish,
just
though.
Go at them. Yes, it does.
You cast jigs, you're looking for bigs. So I'll put it that way.
And that big thunk, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, along the same lines as being stubborn, we had back in 2014 or 15, I was co-angler of the year for New York State Bass Federation, and I had one guy come up to me. He goes, if you can't catch fish on a drop shot, you're never gonna do this and do that. And so it's funny, ironically, because when I sealed up the angler of the year, I was throwing the Alabama rig. and I'm like,
of a drop shot.
Yeah, pretty much. And
a little bit.
You know, he didn't realize, you know, because he saw me carrying spinning rods most of the time, and you know, we fished the St. Lawrence River, Lake Champlain. I caught a lot of them on a jig.
Yep.
St. Lawrence River, everything was on a drop shot. And Oneida Lake, that was pretty much Alabama rig.
Yeah.
And
St.
so
Clair's almost always drop shot for me. When we go up there, that's almost.
I mean, you got to go where you got to use what catches the fish. So
that's one of the few times you'll see a spinning rod stuck in my hand.
Now I've gotten to the point where sometimes up here I'll throw a drop shot with a casting rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because like the lightest I throw is a 1/2 ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I throw a 3/8 usually, but I throw my weightless wacky rig on a casting rod. It's not that I don't like the finessier setups. It's just spinning rods, and I don't get along that well. I don't know. I'm more comfortable with a bait caster in my hand.
Yeah.
And here's a part of the nerd in me. The a Senko, the actual true Senko, weighs 3/8 of an ounce, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I use that, because I don't have the patience for the others to sink to the bottom. So it's like, who has that much patience?
Oh yeah.
Like 5 feet down and it's still going.
Yeah. If I throw in off-brand plastic stick bait, I'll call them. I will put a nail weight or something in it to give it a little bit of weight.
Then it messes with the action of it. And,
yeah, but smallmouth, I think, because everybody throws wacky, they don't throw Nico rig style.
Yep.
So sometimes that little bit of different action helps.
Yeah, I found out this summer Nico has its place too.
In the grass, it's awesome. I've used it at Gunnersville, and it was awesome.
I couldn't believe how you can fish it in grass. I never threw it in grass because I was like, well, how's that going to work, you know? But no, it comes through grass. Yeah,
absolutely.
I kind of learned its tricks this summer, so
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So what are?
So what hooks do you guys use for Nico setups?
I'm sorry.
Nico,
Nico hooks.
What
I'm
size?
curious. Yeah, or what stuff? Like, I guess what brand or whatever.
Go ahead, Rob. I'll let you go first.
yeah, I use several good kinds. I use like a vector hook. It's almost like just a standard, like a long shank, almost like a bait hook. I use that. Sometimes I use like the little, like a drop shot, like the little octopus hook. But it seems like the longer shank I've done better on. So I've been using that. And like I said, I don't use a weed guard. And I always one key I found, one key I found in the grass is I keep my rod kind of high. Seems like because you use it, so your line is almost like a weed guard. So that's a couple of things I've done, had some success with. So
because I struggled with hookup ratio to start with fishing Nikos. Yep. I was like, no, I'm over it. Like I'm just I can't handle losing all these fish. I went to Tackle Shack, the local tackle store here. And I was like, hey guys, what do you use and stuff? And Trevor, one of the guys there, turned me on to Cover Shot.
Shot
and that has been really good for me. And I've even found you nose hook a fluke on that.
Yeah,
get a good hookup ratio that way too. with that Cover Shot Nico hook.
Yeah, the guys at Tackle Shack real good. I've talked to them a few times. I work for a company that supplies fishing stuff, and we supply them with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
they're awesome.
Great guys there.
Yeah, they're actually the ones who rigged my kayak at the beginning of this year.
Oh heck, that's
all
cool.
The electronics and mounted the trolling motor and all of that. So
cool.
Yeah, awesome. Really good guys.
The one I use is the
okay.
Hayabusa Wacky Floral Guard.
Okay.
A size 1. And one of the things I like about it is it has. I'm still learning how to do this.
Yep.
It has a fluorocarbon guide.
That's pretty neat.
Okay.
Guard on there, and you can trim it. And once I get a fish hooked with this or their drop shot hooks, I've not lost one.
Cool.
And that's awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you find something that works for you, stick with it.
Absolutely.
That's what I've learned.
Absolutely.
If I find something that fixes something I had an issue with, I'm gonna run with it. So
absolutely. Keep it simple. Yeah. Keep it simple. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. That's exactly true. And like we said earlier, stick with what works for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So what are some of the more advanced things that you've learned kayak fishing, as far as, and they could be like maneuverability, how you do this, how you handle fish catching? And
I would say probably the most that I've learned on is river fishing, actually, and I was a river fisherman, but as far as like the way you position your kayak and the way you position your cast, along with the way the current is going, to make it all work together and to make your cast, go the way that you want. I'm intrigued by it, and it's
it's a science. It's a science.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you can, soon you can start calling your shots, and you're like, oh, right where it was supposed to be. That's where, I'm gonna make that cast because there's fish there, sure enough. And it's I mean, well, some days it's like that. Some days it's just not so much. But no, I don't know. They're exhausting and frustrating as well, because the current just never stops, and it's you're constantly in motion, constantly on alert, constantly just it can be overwhelming, especially if you're newer to kayak fishing and you're not coordinated with everything yet and comfortable with everything. I would suggest maybe keeping rivers a little bit at a time. because it can be super overwhelming and frustrating and not to mention dangerous, if you're not used to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I can't tell you how many rods I broke to start with fishing the river. It was, whew, yeah. It's
That's part of
painful,
learning. Yeah, part of learning.
but that's how you learn. It's,
Yep.
yeah. And I'm the one that, comes up to a rapids or something, and I want to get that one last quick cast in, and then I'm like, oh shoot, get it up, get my pedals up, get my paddle out.
Yep.
One of these days. But yeah, I don't know. Rivers will always be my favorite. They're never the same,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the wind, I mean, that has to be difficult as well to try to steady. Now, like up here, we have a lot of current and a lot of wind at the same time, and they're not always playing fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So it pushes you against the current because
Yep.
yeah.
Your line's going with the current and your boat's going against the current, and
Yep. You're just like
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a difficult question I have is bass fishing has taken a lot of scrutiny because of cheating. And I never hear anything about cheating in kayaks. Well, I heard one story. And basically the person cut their catch board down.
Yeah.
A couple inches, so it made the fish look longer, appear longer. Yeah. But how do they tell where you're fishing?
It's through the app and through your photos. You have to have your location and everything enabled on your phone for your photos.
Okay.
And so it gets the timestamp, your exact location, and everything that they can see.
Oh, okay.
And yep. And they will check that, make sure you're where you're supposed to be at the time you said that you were.
Oh yeah.
But that's how they manage that.
Okay, that's pretty sharp. I like it.
Yeah.
Like, so you can't be on Lake Erie fishing when you're supposed to be fishing Ohio River.
No, sir.
A red flag goes up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean you got a 5-pound smallie? I mean, a 22-inch smallie.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all in inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
It drives some people crazy. You're like, oh, how much did it weigh? I don't know, but it was 19.25 inches. It's like, yeah.
Okay. So
I still always carry a scale just in case.
Oh yeah.
Catch those big ones, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Now for a fun question, what is your favorite homemade cookie?
Chocolate chip. Oh,
All
oatmeal
right.
chocolate chip, to be more
There you
specific.
go.
Oatmeal
Okay.
chocolate chip.
There you go.
My wife's a baker, so
Yeah.
her and I used to have a podcast together a couple years ago, and that was her one question she wanted to make sure she asked everybody.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
Now's the time where we like to let our guests have the floor and talk about whoever helped them along the way, some of their sponsors and everything like that. So,
right.
Edie, go ahead. Thank you for coming on, and go ahead and take the time and talk about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it and appreciate it. And the list of people to thank and that have supported me and stuff is like way too long for an hour show. But some of the main ones is definitely my partner, my kids. They're amazing. And then my biggest sponsor, Fluid Fun Kayaks in Bristol. Amazing crew. If you ever want to know anything about kayaks or canoes or paddles or dry gear or anything like that, go talk to them because they're just a wealth of knowledge. And Tackle Shack, the guys at Tackle Shack, For Her Outdoor Apparel, has been a big supporter from the start. Huge shout out to Jennifer and Peyton. They're amazing there. And all this support that they give for women in fishing. It's really, really amazing. American Bait Works.
Yep.
And I'm sure I'm missing people, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of the people that have supported me along the way.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else, Rob?
Yeah, I guess. What is your favorite lake? If you had to go anywhere, what would be your favorite lake?
Can it be a river?
Yeah, it could be a river. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Favorite lake that I've ever fished, I would have to say Caddo Lake in Texas.
Yep.
I had an absolute blast there fishing the Hobie BOS down there last year. Rivers, St. Joe's.
Yep.
St. Joe's got my heart. I mean, that'll always be my favorite. So if
Oh,
I
I
have a
got you.
bad day fishing somewhere, I go there to make myself feel better. So
Yep. Hey, you got to do that once in a while to kind of reset yourself. So I understand.
Yeah.
Now, what would be one you don't want to go back to?
well, that's going to have to be one that I can barely pronounce. And I fished this lake for the IKA series here a few weeks back, and it's called Mississinua.
Oh,
It's a reservoir in southern Indiana.
okay.
I caught one fish all day.
No.
It was, I think, it was like 5 out of everybody that fished that caught a limit that day. It was brutal, and me and reservoirs are still, I'm trying to get better at them.
Yeah, they're tough.
Just, I don't know, but that lake, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. There's some could be like that. It happens.
Yeah.
Now, what's a dream lake? You know, a lake that you've not fished that you would like to fish.
Oh, I don't know. I always hear a lot about Gunnersville.
He don't like it, but I love it.
I've never had the opportunity to fish it. And then also, there's a lake out in California. Is it Clear?
Yeah, Clear Lake. Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Clear Lake,
also,
California Delta. Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
big fish lakes.
Yep.
See, that's the one I choose.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm spoiled
those
where I'm
are
at because
two.
I got a lot of good fishing here.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to go a place where I can catch a lot of fish and big fish.
Yeah. Well, doesn't everybody?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob, anything else?
No, I think that's it. See, I was going to ask you something else about kayaks, and it slipped my mind. My age is getting to me. No. Like when you're fishing during the day, I know you measure. Now, do you have to have, like if a lake's got a 12-inch minimum, do you have to have the minimums, or you measure whatever?
It is up to the tournament director, the rules of the tournament.
Oh,
because
okay.
It's catch and release.
Right.
You're not putting them in a live well.
Right.
So my one series does not have a minimum.
Oh, okay.
But most series, and especially the national ones and stuff, they're usually 12 inches minimum.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I got a couple more comments here. There we go.
John, you make me feel like the resident Neanderthal. I realize inhale the soft touch of a sledgehammer. Kevin McGivney says, hi, y'all. Yeah, if you ever need help with electronics, those are the two people to talk to. Kevin McGivney.
Awesome.
Yep.
He owns an electronics shop, and he's very intelligent on that. And Barking Rugers, he can set them up as well. But I want
he set up some elite guys' sonars and radar or electronics, so he's really good.
That's awesome. That, like I said, it's always good to know a person like that. So
absolutely.
and we don't think he's a Neanderthal. We don't want to give Neanderthal a bad name. But no, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I learned a lot in this episode.
Yeah, I did too. Great info, like I said. Yeah, great info. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Might want to have her get a list together and what to look for kayaks.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys can always message me too.
Okay.
Or if anyone
Okay.
else has any questions or whatever, I'm always open to taking messages and answering questions. If I don't have the answer, I will try to find the answer for you. So
Awesome. Appreciate it.
all right.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Edie. Have a good
Yep,
night.
have a good night, guys.
Take care and have
All
a
right.
good rest of the week.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you. All right.
See ya.
All right. See you.
Woo.
Wow. I mean, that was a plethora of information.
Yeah. This is definitely one I'm going to have to go back and watch again.
Yeah. There were some questions I had back in my head I was trying to think of, but man, she answered all of them like that. I mean, it was just like, I learned a lot. So that was great. She hit it out of the park.
You know as well as I do, if it's truth and passion, it comes out easy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow we have Josh with Clutch Swim Baits coming.
Look forward to that.
He's going to talk about swim bait fishing. And Wednesday we have Frank Geiner, a friend of mine, fishes the Northeast a lot. He's a very good jig fisherman.
Absolutely.
So,
Clutch is some of the best swim baits on the market. I mean, you'll see a lot of pros that on their deck right now. So y'all tune in.
Yep. All right. So everybody take care. Be safe. Have a great night. And tune in tomorrow.
Peace out.